Hello there, parents. My name is Mr. Llewelyn. I'm an 8th grade school counselor, and on behalf of Quincy Public Schools and Quincy Junior High School, we want to welcome you to Quincy Junior High School and provide you some information about Quincy Junior High School and also update you on some of the information that's going to happen with the restructuring due to the COVID-19 and how we're going to do some things. So this presentation is to give you some information, and we hope that it guides you and makes you more secure with sending your kid to Quincy Junior High School. And we're excited about having your child, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure they're safe and protected here in any manner we can, because we know that's important for them to be learning. So let's go ahead and get started with the presentation. First thing I'd like to do is give you some of the Quincy Junior High School highlights. We have about 1,450 students here at Quincy Junior High School. We go from grades 6th through 8th grade. We approximately have 480 students in each grade with 83 certified staff members here, 170 total staff members, and also this school started to be built in 1931 and finished in 1933 as Quincy Senior High School. Building logistics here at Quincy Junior High School. We have 4 floors. We have grade levels. 6th grade is on 1st and 2nd floor. 7th grade is on 3rd floor, and 8th grade is on 4th floor. Odd number rooms are on the north side of the building, which is toward Main Street, and even number rooms are on the south side, which are toward the Jersey Street. We also have the other idea of boys' restrooms are on the north, again, on the odd side, and girls' restrooms are on the south side toward Jersey on the even numbered side. The campus covers a whole city block in Quincy from 14th to 12th Street and from Main to Jersey. And we also include a athletic field on east side on Jersey Street called the athletic field, the Jersey Street Athletic Facilities. And building features, we have 2 gymnasiums. We have an upper gym and a lower gym. All of our sports, except for wrestling, is held in the lower gym, but all of our other sports, basketball, volleyball, are held in the upper gym. We have a band room on the 5th floor, and like I said, we had 4 floors. So the 5th floor is entered by the 4th floor across from the art room, and it's been labeled. We have Project Lead the Way Pre-Engineering Lab, which consists of a classroom connected to a computer lab, so students can get some STEM education through Project Lead the Way. We also have 2 art rooms. We have an art teacher in the 1st floor and an art teacher on the 4th floor. We also include a fitness room as part of our PE. We have a library with a computer lab attached into the library. We have a mobile computer carts to help with the technology and the usage for each level and grade. And we also have an athletic field, which I just talked about on Jersey Street, that contains a football field and a baseball field. And we just refinished our upper gym floor, brand new. It's a year old. So here's some reasons to contact us, and this is really the reasons to contact the main office. If you want to pay book fees, you can contact the main office. You can pick up sports packets there. You can pay lost and found. You can just deposit lunch money. You can get message to your student that way through calling the main office. And you can get work permits for your older kids that need to have a work permit. And then you can change personal information in case you change your phone number or your address. That's a place you can go as well. The main office is located just to the right as you walk into the main lobby. Reasons for contacting our attendance office. If you want to report an absence, we prefer that you call, or you can email Miss Moody at the email there, or Miss Whitty at her email. That helps us out and it manages it. We also deal with discipline issues in the attendance office, so if you have a concern with a discipline issue, you can contact the attendance office there. Prearranged absent forms. So if you're planning on a vacation or a trip during the school time, which we try not to do, but if it comes up where you have to do it, then we would want a pre-arranged absence. We have also events like dance events or something like that where the kid's going to be gone. We would much rather have a pre-arranged absence than the student not knowing where they're at. Also, any tardy issues are dealt with through the attendance office. Any bus questions, for example, there's a situation on a bus or maybe somebody left something on the bus. If they communicate with the attendance office, we can get that taken care of. Student activities and athletics is also done through the attendance because Mr. Osley, the assistant principal, is in charge of student services. So attendance, discipline, and athletics is also, and student council activities, things like that. Change in personal information as well. We said that could be done in the main office. It could be done in the attendance office as well. And then any conflict resolution. For example, there's been an issue at school. We want to know for like bullying, or maybe something's harassing somebody, or maybe you just want to make sure we can get the kids together to figure out something. So this would be a place that you could do that. It's called the attendance office, and let us know so we can make sure, again, your child's safe and we're working with dealing with those issues. Activities and athletics that are here at Quincy Junior High School. Now, because of COVID-19, clubs and organizations will be on hold until we get to a different level where we can put more groups together. But we do hope that happens soon. Then we have the IESA. We're members of the Illinois Elementary Sports Association in Illinois. So fall athletics right now, football has been put on hold. Girls softball is able to play some. Boys baseball has been able to play some. Girls basketball right now, we don't know because it starts kind of late in the fall and goes a little bit into the winter. But cross country is also available. And boys and girls golf, there will be a tryout sometime in September, I believe they said. And your son or daughter, if interested in that, can participate in that. Girls softball's already started. They've already made the cuts in the team. So if your child is interested, that would have to probably be next year. And then you'll notice that there's a 6 by cross country, boys and girls golf, and wrestling. Those are the only sports allowed for 6th graders at this time. But you notice that winter athletics are there and spring athletics. So right now, due to COVID, we're bound by what the state says we can do through ISA and the government and the health department. Right now, reasons to contact the guidance office. So we do have a guidance office. There's 3 counselors, 1 per each grade. And so the guidance office is also a place where we can request homeworks for extended absences. And that means students that are absent for 2 or more days. To get homework requests, we need those to be in, please, by 8 a.m. so we can give teachers time to generate those assignments and get them ready to be in the main office for you to pick up. Change in personal information. Again, all 3 offices, main, attendance, and the guidance office, are places you can change your personal information regarding contact or a house change or an address change, things like that. You can sign up for home access. You can get instructions on making sure you're signed up for Skyward, and it's very valuable that you do that so you can stay in touch with maybe the grades of your student and maybe some work that's missing, things like that, to keep them up on where they're at educationally and academically as we go on through the school year. Any academic concerns, like they're having a hard time with studying, or maybe there's a concern about something else regarding their learning or academic study, you can call it and they'll direct you to a school counselor and we can work with that. Student schedules, they're very tight this year because of the COVID, so there's not much we're going to do, but if there is a question about a schedule or what's going on, that's a place to call, the guidance office. And any social and emotional support. We know that the COVID pandemic has really drawn in some anxiety and some concerns about coming to school this year. So if you feel like your student's having some issues with some of that, give us a call. We'll do what we can to support them and contact you to make sure that we're doing the best we can to make sure the student has a great learning environment to be in. Now, this is important because the reasons to contact the nurse's office. This year, we're having a situation where we have 2 nurses' offices. We will have a first aid and medicine office in room 222. And that will be a room where students go, again, for like they need a Band-Aid, they maybe got a paper cut, or maybe they slipped and fell and they got a little bruise and we need some ice on it. Or let's say they take medicine. So really healthy kids that just need some TLC, some taken care of, or some medicine to get them through the day, through a medical situation. So they would visit room 222 on the second floor, 220 on the second floor to get that help. We will also have a medical illness room, which is where a nurse will monitor those kids that are not feeling well, that have a medical illness. And it will be something like if they have a temp, or if they're feeling nauseous and sick, like they're going to throw up and they need to be monitored, that will be students that have a medical illness will be housed in those offices. The other thing that you would do is if your child does need medication through the school day, we need to make sure that the medication form is signed by a parent and a doctor and must be on file here at our office so we can give the meds if your child does require meds during the school day. You can turn in physicals and immunization records in the nurse's office, and also any medical homebound information. So let's say your child's going to have to be out for more than 2 weeks and they have a medical issue. It could be we've had kids that just need to be out because of either personal reasons or they've developed a serious medical issue, and so we got to make sure that we can provide some kind of learning, and they may have to go to a medical homebound situation to get some of their education while they're trying to get treated for their medical issues. So that would be a reason. Course offerings. This year, we're offering all of our core classes: math, science, social studies, reading, and communication arts. And then we're offering PE as well. So the thing with this is all those kids will get classes. They'll stay in the same room, but the math to the specialty teachers will move into the classroom. So we will have a math teacher, science teacher, social studies teacher, reading and communication arts teacher flowing into each kid's room. The other thing about PE, in order to get electives in, we have made a PE class, but then the exploratory arts classes and some Spanish classes or music like orchestra, band, or choir, we will filter those kids in through that PE hour. So some of them may not have PE and they may be in Spanish, or some may not have PE and be in the music classes. Some kids will be in PE but may be pulled out for an exploratory arts class. So that's how that's going to work with the shortened schedule due to the adjustment with the pandemic and everything else. So again, we only have 7 hours plus a win time hour. That win time hour is the 8th hour of the day, and it's an hour where students can work and keep themselves organized. So when your student says, I had nothing to do, we want to make sure that's true, because if they should be planning and working toward their school day and making sure their planner's filled out, or that they've got a test and they can study for it so they're organized. So that's what that is. WIN stands for whatever I need for school. So if they missed a paper and they accidentally forgot it, they could get that paper, so they make sure they have it. So that's what WIN time is for, a study time as well as a help you keep informed during that WIN time hour, 8th hour. On this slide, you'll see our 2021 school day. Now, this is subject to change based on current coronavirus issues within what our health department decides and what our state and our governor decides and what our state health department decides. So we're making those decisions based on our regional COVID area based on the state breakout. So this is subject to change at any time. So we want to make sure you're on the Skyward account that you have. So when we give Sky alerts, or you can please join our Facebook page, as well as get in touch with the Quincy Public Schools webpage for information that's going to continue to go on regarding that schedule. To the left, to your left as you view this, is the school schedule. And you'll see that we'll start with an advisory, and that's to get the kids settled in. They have breakfast in the classroom. They will check for their lunch, what they'll be having for lunch. Breakfast and lunch will all be eaten in the classroom, and we will have choices for them, and they will be delivered to the classroom as well. So that's their schedule. So during the online registration process, you'll have the opportunity to choose a remote learning or based on your medical or personal decision, and then or in person. So if they're in person here, they're going to get their education here. If they're in remote learning, you'll be receiving some information on making sure to how to log into that. But just to make sure you know, if your kid is remote, they will need to log in by 7:45. So make sure we do attendance and get them attending school as well. Masks will be required for all students, so they need to make sure before they enter the building that they have the mask on, their social distancing, and then they'll have a temperature check as they come into the building. Bus riders will have their temperature checked at the bus stop. So we want to make sure you're aware of that. So we have set up some new entrances and new strategies to help protect your kid and help them keep as much separated social distancing so we don't concern ourselves with a large spread or not spreading here at school, and they can learn. Morning arrival, we want students to be here at 7:25, ready to enter the building. We restrict that. We don't want kids here at 7 o'clock and being out with other kids to help prevent some of the scientific spread of the COVID. So we want them here like close to 7:25 because that's when we're going to open the building and get things done. Like I said, bus riders will enter through the Main Street entrance. They'll come right in. They'll have a breakfast option, and then they'll go to the right and then find their class, and that's where they'll go. There will be a grab-and-go breakfast available for every kid that wants it. So there'll be grab-and-go for the buses as well as the 2 entrances that we have. And then the students are to report to their first hour advisory class right away after they get their breakfast, or if they don't get their breakfast, go there. Walkers and drop-offs, they will enter from the north Main Street side or the south, the Jersey side. So they'll also be provided a grab-and-go available on both sides. It will be the northwest section and the southwest entrances that the students will receive that breakfast in that breakfast line. So we'll be out there directing kids, but if you can remember to let them know that it's the northwest and the southwest entrances where they will get the breakfast and breakfast line. Also, after they get their breakfast, they report to their class, or if they do not get breakfast, they report to their class. Some caution things to be aware of. We got to be aware that bus traffic usually happens between 7:20, 7:35 in the morning. So when you're pulling up, if you're dropping your kid off, make sure that you have an adequate place to drop off. And I'll go through some of that information through a map that I've developed to help you out. But due to the new entrances, we want to make sure our kids are safe. So be careful on how you drop your kids off. Excuse me. Students are expected to use the crosswalks, and bikers should walk their bikes across properly. So we have crosswalks at all 4 sections of getting to junior high. So we want to access the kids. We got to make sure that parents, that when you drop your kid off, that they exit on the sidewalk side only and not in the streets. Because we're funneling so much traffic in different places around the junior high, we need to use those crosswalks because we're going to, we have people at the Main, 14th and Main, and the 14th and Jersey area to help with that. So kids will cross, but we need you very aware of where the crosswalks are and making sure you're locating where you're dropping your kid off and that it's a safe place to do. So parents, please pay attention to that drop off and being aware. We don't want a kid hit, and we don't want you hitting a kid and then having those issues of what's going on. So please be careful as you drop your kid off. So parents, here's the map I was talking to you about the drop off and locations. As you can see on this map, because of bus drop offs and we need faculty and stuff to clear the Main Street so we have places to drop off, Morrison parking lot will be closed. So that will be closed. So make sure that you don't drive in here and then we get locked in there because there's buses there, because we have some buses that are going to be in there for special ed drop-offs that have wheelchair lifts. So if you get stuck behind it, you will be waiting. So we want to make sure things go smooth for you as well. So you'll notice that this Main Street area is going to be a drop-off. So you can go here. If you're coming the other way on this side, again, make sure your kids are dropped off on the sidewalk side, and then they could use this crosswalk right here and here and here to cross the street to get to the school on time. If you park north of 14th Street on this street here, again, they exit to the sidewalk and will cross over. You'll see here that this is where the entrances are going to be for walk-ins and walkers and drop-offs. We have the northeast side, which will be for students just wanting to enter the school. And then we have the northwest side right here that will be for breakfast and people that want to enter the building. So they have to be in this line if they're going to want that breakfast, okay? The other thing is, again, you'll see the buses here, and the bus drop-off is in the lobby. They come right in. They don't have to be temperature checked. And then the breakfast will be right here toward the lobby, and then they'll enter the building, or they just come in and enter the building and go to their advisory class. On the south side, the southeast entrance here is only for entry. The southwest side over here is for breakfast line. So if they want breakfast, they'll need to line up here. Drop off along Jersey. Again, if you're dropping off and you slide over on this side, they exit the building, they exit the sidewalk side, walk down, and then cross over at the crosswalk. Again, wherever you drop them off, we want to make sure that they're safe. So always come to the crosswalk, and that's where they'll enter. After school dismissal, we will slowly dismiss our students to make sure that they are safe and practicing good social distance. So we want to make sure that's going to happen. Again, mask must be worn the entire time if you're a bus rider. So once you leave the building and you get on your bus, you have to wear them until you get off your bus. And then the choice is up to them once they leave the bus. But we really want them to make sure they're socially safe and protecting themselves. Students getting picked up must keep the mask on until they exit the school and are on the sidewalk. The same thing with walkers. Once they exit the building and they're on the sidewalk, they can make the choice about the mask and stuff, but we still want your kids to be safe. After school sports and everything, administration will work with coaches and plan the appropriate guidelines to make sure students are adequately supervised and follow the safety measures placed in place for the athletes participating in IEA sports. So that will be information only to where the athletes are going, those that are in the sport. Here's some things to be aware of when you pick your kid up. Buses will pick up along 14th Street in Jersey. So they kind of make a shape all the way around 14th Street and then down Jersey to load the kids. So those will be closed for traffic until those buses get loaded and they take off. Those streets are closed, again, like to traffic. Parents, please do not park in local businesses or apartments. We have apartments near us that have parking lots to pick up your kid. So we just ask you, do not impede on the businesses or the apartment building to pull in there and pick your kid up. Students must cross at the corners and be aware when they're picking them up so you're not hitting a kid and they're diving. They should not be going between the cars. To cross the street. Everything should be crossed at the crosswalk. So we just ask you to please be alert as they exit the building. Homework. Expect students to have homework. They should be doing some kind of extension or some learning there and bring it home. That'll be up to the teachers and we'll get more information regarding that. But please expect some as we go on through the year. Encourage use of your student planner. So if they have a planner, to make sure they're writing that stuff during win time, like I have a test on Thursday, and be specific with it, like math, page 56, even numbers to 16. And then be specific so that they understand that. There'll be some work with the kids in win time on how to do some of that, but just double check with them and make sure that they're actually using their planner and putting in special dates and things like that. Home access on Skyward to monitor your students' grades. There's also a way to go into Skyward when you log in to that front page of home access and look in the right and hit account. And if you go down to the bottom where after you click account and hit squares, that you can click something where it will give you on Fridays an email for any missing work. Access the homework website. There'll be some more instructions on that. But we do have homework website. If you go to the www.qps.org and then find Quincy Junior High School under Our Schools, and then there will be some homework access. And basically, when you click that on to the left, you'll have your teachers' names, and you can click on that teacher, and it can pick up homework. It's very valuable sometimes if your kid's sick. Teachers sometimes will put the work there. They will put the work there, but then they might include a video or something to help them with the learning. So it's important to access the homework website. Communication with classroom teacher is highly important. That's the most critical thing we can do. If you have a question regarding the academic or the lesson or things that go on, and your student might not understand what things going on, please communicate with your teacher. You can do that through the email. They'll have other sources that you can do that too as well. Security. We do have security here at Quincy Junior High School. Only one of the things that security will do, you can only enter during a school day. The only entrance is at 14th Street. We lock the building down. No one should let anybody else in the building. If they're here for some reason, they should be with that person for the reason. So we tell kids not to open doors for people. They got to come around to 14th Street. This year, because of the COVID situation, all visitors must have an appointment to attend and come into Quincy Junior High School. We just want to limit the number of access and the chances for something to spread, and because we're here to make sure your students learning, and we want to give them a safe, secure environment to do that in. We do utilize video cameras throughout the building, and we do have a school resource officer, Officer Holtman from the Quincy Police Department, and he takes care of anything that that might deal with a community issue or a high-level school issue. But he is here for protection and assistance if we need it from him. Here's the QJHS dress code. QJH students wear appropriate clothing for school. QJHS students cannot wear clothes that are disruptive to the educational process. An acceptable attire is outlined in the student planner, page 27. So if you want to look at that when you get your student's planner, just to make sure you're in touch with the dress code, we'd appreciate that. Now, QJHS is a PBIS school. It's a positive behavior intervention and systems school. So we really believe that students need to be respectful, as well as staff, be responsible, and be inspired. So those three things are what we'll really focus on as your student comes here, is them three things. And they all encompass everything that we do here. So even through the matrix and the rules and expectations we have, we look at that. What happens with PBIS in the positive behavior intervention systems, we use data to look at how to adjust things and how to make sure we're managing like discipline or even a systems approach. Like it might not work because we just done it for years. So we're going to look at that and maybe adjust it and change it to make it better for your student to be here and make it flow better for teachers as well as students. So it's a great system, but we use data research to make sure we're making the decisions we need to make here at Quincy Junior High School with your student. Balanced assessment to inform instruction decisions. So these three things help us to inform like what we do with instructions and where we go with it. We make sure we look at our classroom assessments through quizzes, through tests, through project-based information to see where the learning's going and seeing what all students are doing in the classroom. We also access MAP, measures of academic progress. They take it, it's a computer-based adaptive test. It's taken 3 times per year, fall, winter, and spring, and it encompasses reading, math, language usage, and science. We weigh heavily on some MAP because we want to see growth. It's okay to see straight A's, but we want to see growth as well. So we want to make sure kids are doing what they're supposed to be doing, but also growing academically and pushing themselves. We also give the Illinois Assessment for Readiness, and that is a computer-based test as well. It's once a year in the spring, and it tests English, language arts, math, and then science in the 8th grade. This gives us an assessment for the statewide goals and things that we're doing to see and how that matches up. So we look at all 3 of these to match that up for finding out what our instructional decisions are going to be. Questions? So this ends the presentation. But if you have any questions after this presentation, please feel free to call the junior high, and the rest of the information, the extension numbers are to your right, and their email. Please make sure you communicate with us. That's the key to helping your sixth grader and you at Quincy Junior High School. Is if you have a question, don't be afraid to ask, and keep us informed on what's going on. If we can help in any way, we would love to. I hope this helped. I hope this eased you a little bit about, as a parent, sending your kid to Quincy Junior High School. And again, we'd like to thank you for everything you do as parents and what you did in fourth quarter. We realize that. We are hoping everything works out, and we can't wait to see your kid August 20th. You have a great day now, and we'll see your kid soon.